Episode 8, Silence in the Library. From the man who has consistently brought us great stories throughout the 3 preceding seasons, and in the same slot as his excellent two-parter set in World War II from the first series, we had this story. Would Stephen Moffat disappoint? No, I'm having to say this is most definitely a great story, a cracking plot, and I think one of the most touching, emotional death scenes that the show has ever produced. On a par for me, I think, with Noah turning into a Wirren in the Ark in Space. Prediction 7.8, I gave it 8. Episode 9, The Forest of the Dead. Well, the second part rolled around. We had lots of unanswered questions from the first half. The question was, could Stephen Moffat answer them in an original, interesting way? Yes and no, I think, is the answer to that one. I think there were definitely a lot of surprises in that second episode as to how it was resolved. But again, I think I was fed up with his standard plot cliche of everybody lives. I mean, for me, as a believer in the soul, I mean, River Song and her crew are dead. That's not them in the computer. But having watched Confidential, obviously from his point of view, no, that's them, they're still alive. So I hope that when he does take over the series, we don't get Everybody Lives plots every week. I'm sure we won't, Mr. Moffat. Prediction 7.8, I gave it 7. Episode 10, Midnight. Well, this is the slot that gave us the episode Blink last year, so it had a lot to live up to. And as you can probably tell, I'm not the biggest fan of RTD's writing, but confine him, as this plot undoubtedly did, to one set for the most part, and he's come up with a cracking, scary, psychological story. It's probably not one that I want to revisit too quickly. I mean, I think the repetition did get a bit repetitive, and that made it scary first time round, but maybe will be appreciated less as time goes on. But for now, prediction 6.95, I gave it a 7. Okay, we're into the final straight here. Episode 11, Turn Left. Now, I think a lot of us were expecting, because of last year's 3-part finale, that this would kick off the finale. And in a way it does, but it's not as linked as we had before. And yeah, the plot was highly improbable, I thought. And there are aspects of it which I still have absolutely no idea how it all fitted together, even though we know what happened at the end of the season. But predominantly it was a character piece, and I think Catherine Tate and Bernard Crimmins particularly acted their socks off in this one. Billie Piper's return, a bit strange, still don't quite understand how that worked either, and she seems to have developed a bit of a lisp, but I'll forgive that for the quality of the episode, I think. Prediction 6.5, I gave it a 7.